What's going on, everybody? Today we are taking a look at a Reate collaboration by Kirby Lambert. It's the Augustus Bolster lock with green micarta. Very nicely done. You know, Reate, I really thoroughly enjoy Reate's very nice overall quality of fit and finish. Yeah, it's very well made. Snappy action. Beautiful hollow grind up to your nice flat grind of your Japanese style tanto with a nice swedge on top. Pretty good, very nice tall blade. Nice little sloop out of the top there. Some nice jimping right there for when you're really getting to the nice hard grip on it for work. It's about 8.5 inches long. Blade length is just a little over 3.5 inches. So, you know, if you're in a restriction for your blade length, 3.5 inches obviously is definitely pushing it. It also has a nice little recurve in the blade there. So it's got a lot of things going on with this knife. Probably one of the things that is very odd been very odd for me. Because, you know, you get this knife in hand and you feel like it's just like an average, nice, comfortable knife. But you really do. You have to keep in mind of, you know, the aggressiveness that this knife somewhat brings to the table while still being a pretty productive knife. But, you know, you do have, you know, that little bit of recurve. So if you're, you know, trying to do a cutting board type task, you know, and you're not, you know, working the knife like this, and you're just trying to chop, that's going to be an issue for you. It's not as aggressive as I would normally prefer for a tanto. I mean, not that I have a problem with a, you know, nice looping Asian tanto. You know, I do have a few. I have a few in my collection and always will add more. But I don't know, sometimes I just, you know, when I'm looking at a tanto, I do like a little more on the aggressive side. But and I prefer the American style tanto more so. Now, when it's done right, I don't mind it at all. But the action on this knife is just, again, you know, if you're familiar with Reate, you know, it's great action. The detent is spot on, just like it always is with a Reate. You know, it's almost drop shut. I mean, it probably could use to be taken apart and cleaned. It's had a fair amount of pocket time, so it could have a little. It was breaking it. You know, it broke in nicely, pretty quick. And now it's a little on the slow side at the top end there. So it could have some pocket length into it, but let's do a nice size comparison, see what we're dealing with. PM2 tanto. Let's throw in the Chris Reeves Savenza 21. So, I mean, it's pretty much, you know, the same size as a lot of these knives, I would say. Try to get them level there. So these are all pretty close to the same size. As you can tell, let's throw in. Benchmade Griptilian. That's probably one that's a little bit shorter on that one. Sometimes you gotta Sometimes got to move them around because the camera angle kind of messes up a little bit with the size differences. But yeah, you can get a pretty good idea what you're dealing with there. But yeah, it's a nice knife. It's got a little heft to it in the weight department. So let's see what we're dealing with there. Yeah, 5 1/4 ounces. So yeah, she's, you know, it's definitely a knife that's on the heavier side. There's no question about that. But you know, you're talking about a pretty hardy titanium, and there's absolutely no milling inside there. It's hard to see, but yeah, there's no milling going on inside there. That's straight thickness titanium. You can see how the green micarta there, right over the bolster lock. You have your over travel stop and your replaceable a little hard to pick it up there, but yeah, it's very nicely done. Like I said, Reate does a really nice job. They really do. I mean, they are probably definitely up there. The pocket clip is very nice. You know, it's your more or less typical milled pocket clip. It's got some decent height to it, so once it's in your pants, it's gonna stay put. Decent ramp to get, you know, you started in there. Plenty of spring. Works for some pants and maybe not for others from time to time. But yeah, it's a very nice back spacer. Almost looks like, you can tell, almost looks like they've got some like copper washers in there. Yeah, very nicely done. Definitely giving you that in this form. I mean, this knife is $350, and there's a lot of different variations of your handle scales. They do have carbon fiber. Yeah, they've got a bunch of different ones out there. So the blade is dirty. But yeah, they have a bunch of different styles. So they, you know, some of them even have where your front whole section is black. And that I've seen, that was really nice. I didn't see that until after I bought this one. But your blade M390, you can barely notice it. Got Kirby Lambert's logo there, Reate's logo over on the other side. Yeah, very nicely done. It's a pretty hardy blade. Let's see here. Yeah, probably just a little bit thicker than probably your Spyderco, definitely. But yeah, and that's, you know, that's some part where your, you know, 5 ounces is going, is definitely in your titanium scales that are not milled out, and you know, your overall blade, which is just a little over 3.5 inches long. So got a nice sharpening choil, which is really good with a knife like this, you know, because obviously you're gonna have to work that little bit of your recurve, you know. The good thing is, I mean, it's a pretty fluid, sharpening edge, and this edge is sharp. Like I said, again, Reate's quality is pretty good. They're pretty much spot on. Nice, a lot of nice angles. And they are you know, right on the money too. You know, it's hard to pick up, but you can see how they come down, and they're coming down right together. That can be when you have these kind of grind lines, you definitely want to see them uniform on both sides. You know, I mean, might be nitpicking to some people, but you know, it is nice to see when those grind lines, that's the front, you know, that they're right on the money. You know, when you get little things like that, you know that they're doing a good quality job of making sure that they line up. Because I mean, you know, with a hollow and all these flats, it's real easy to just really wing it, you know, and let knives go out that, you know, maybe aren't matched up on both sides, you know, or are just a little bit off. But this one is definitely right on the money. There may be some that aren't, but this one is right on the money. Like I said, I mean, other than the fact that it probably needs a little bit of cleaning and a little bit of oil. Otherwise, she's snappy. You know, your lockup is probably a good 30%. I like to might actually be a little bit more than 30%, might be closer to 40. Kind of hard to see on camera there, but I like to look, when you like to look at the back and really see, you know, how she's scraping onto the back of the blade. That way you really can get a really good idea, but it's kind of hard to pick up on camera. Oh, there we go. Yeah, good 35%, I would say, which would be pretty much right where you want to be. The blade is very nicely lined up, right on the money, perfect, all the way around. And like I said, I don't think I've ever failed the knife. Oops, I just didn't, but I just whacked myself in the hand too at the same time. Failing the knife is, I don't think ever happened with this knife. This knife, even as big as that blade is, it's snapped. And the bolster lock is nice. I mean, you don't, you know, I find myself kind of holding my fingers up, even though I don't have to, because, you know, they're not on the bolster, not on, I keep thinking I'm on a frame lock, but just that little bolster section, you know, not used to it. I think this is, right now, I think this is the only bolster lock knife I have, so. But yeah, she's snappy. She snaps that big 3.5 inch, over 3.5 inch knife blade right out nicely. Very nice. A little bit of a pocket pecker. When it's in your pocket, yeah, you're definitely gonna notice it. I even got my little blood there. Good job. No knife reviews incomplete unless you've gotten a little bit of blood into it. Yeah, so tip up carry, you know, and you got a little bit of a pocket pecker there, you know. But, and of course 5 ounces, you got some heft in it, that's for sure. Well, that's it for this video, guys. If you want to know anything else, give me a comment in the bottom. I'll let you know anything I might have missed on the review. Make sure you like and subscribe, because there's always more coming down the road. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.